Hello everyone, it's Pollution here again, and I'm going to be giving you a tutorial on map making. So I am going to go here. I have a lot of different games that I've made, and I'm starting this new one, Threads of Oblivion. And I'm going to show you how to make maps, and I'm going to show you how to use the map making tool. This is a map that I created a little bit ago for the game Threads of Oblivion, just to give you a little bit of a rundown on it. Threads of Oblivion is essentially about this tale of two kingdoms of humans that fought each other centuries ago, and after fighting each other, one of the kingdoms decided to use plague magic to completely obliterate the other kingdom. Here in the center, you have the Plague Lands, and then off to the northwest, this territory over here is going to be Followvane, which is the kingdom of man. You have Tir Veles, which is the kingdom of elves, and this is their forested zone up here. This is the forest of Tir Veles. And then beneath that, you have Bralderheim, which is the kingdom of the dwarves. And I'm essentially going to show you how to create really nice looking maps and nice looking territories today. The entire continent itself is known as Obsidian Vale. And I'm going to start off there, and I'm going to show you how I do my map making. So the tools down here, just to run through them really quick, you have the selection tool, which lets you select different objects. You have a box select, just to show you how the box select tool works. I'm going to show you on Dungeon Break. If I were to take the box select, I could scroll into an area, and I want to select just areas in the United States. I would try to highlight that. It gives me a whole lot more than what I'm looking for, right? But everything that's within the box, it's going to give you all the characters, all the areas, all the points of interest are just going to be highlighted there. If I scroll out, you're going to see it's just all this little chunk of an area here. It's not going to highlight anything that I didn't go over. And if I wanted to, I could grab it and I could drag it and I could move it. This is pan, so you could pan around by selecting this tool. If you don't want to select that tool and you just want to have the selection tool out the whole time, if you hold the space bar, you see how the arrow turned into a little hand? It lets you pan around with your left click as long as you hold the space bar. It's a pretty helpful tool. If you right click, it gives you additional drop down menus. So like right here, I right clicked on Texas, lets me select it or delete it, all that stuff. Let's see, so that's these three tools right here. We have adding areas for drawing, rectangles. You could add a point of interest or a character. So this is how you add things to the map. This is the deletion icon. If you select that, you can click on things to delete them from the game. This is a measurement tool. Lets you see how long a walk would be. Zooming in and zooming out tools. This fits it to the screen, so you can see the entire map all at once. This tool is a zoom in. It takes you to your current position. As you can see, it just zooms you in really close to just the center of the map. But if you were currently in a game, so let's say if I were to start a game, if my character were off in California and I clicked that button there, it'll take me to my current location in California. Zoom in there on the map. Over here we have some additional settings for the map. You could hide different things, so I could hide all my areas and I could lock them at the same time. I could hide images. So as you can see, this is pretty neat. All of the areas in my game have their own special backgrounds to them, like the little map images, just to change their colors, right? To make it look more like a world map. But if you turn it off, it still looks really cool because it shows all the factions. Right, but that'll turn off map images. You could turn on border only if you wanted to as well. So border only gets rid of the little haze behind it, so you just see the lines, and that's pretty cool too. Some people like that when they're working on maps. I particularly don't mind either way. Right here you could see you could hide and lock things. If I were to lock areas, then I can't select them anymore. See that? And if I were to take the box select from here with everything locked, it would only do points of interest, no areas. That's pretty much it for how this bar works and all the different tools. Now I'm going to show you how I do map making here using Threads of Oblivion. Okay, since I'm going to be showing you how I make continents and all that, and how I make the maps look really pretty, I'm going to start off by showing you the tools here really quick, the rectangle and the draw tool. So the rectangle is what I used to create this area for Threads of Oblivion. I pretty much just dragged it just like that. And then I rescaled it after I dragged it. I would just zoom in and then I would make sure that this matches with how big I want it to be. So I'd click it a second time so it gives me the little joints, little polygons, and I could bring that into here. I'd bring this into here, and so on and so forth until I get the exact shape that I want, right? But I'm not actually going to be doing that, so just going to delete that really quick. And now we have our map. I'm going to do this because I love making continents look really nice. I'm going to do add area draw. Then I zoom in really nice until I could see, the little edges of the continent that I'm working on. And I would just start drawing from there. The closer you zoom in, the nicer it's going to look. But I don't really mind too much. I've built a lot of these maps and I know that at the end of the day, as long as it's close, it still looks really nice. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to get it close and I'm going to draw against this little black line here. You could even zoom out a little bit. So if you look over here, you could see that there are a couple islands that are off on their own. There are a couple over here as well. And then some big ones up here in the northwest of the continent. I'm going to show you how I add islands to the main continent map. Now, not a lot of people do this, and I don't expect every world builder to do it, but this is what I do if I want to add an island to my continent. I'm going to zoom in really nice and close, just like that. I'm going to start drawing my island out like this. Then I go to the next island. I'm going to zoom in, do the same thing. You just want one line there when you're doing it. And then you get up nice and close, zoom in all the way again. So you get a really close point there. And this is just if you're, really meticulous and you want things to look very nice. You can copy what I'm doing. And there you go. You just zoom in to make sure it's really nice and close. And the island doesn't need to be perfect, but you kind of want the lines to match up at the very least. The lines that are leading from one island to the next or the main continent to the island. When that's done, you have your islands added. Now I'm looking over here and I see something interesting. This looks like a river that's heading out to the ocean, but this also looks like a different color of the land. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little swampland right here that's right next to the ocean that's underneath the kingdom of Bralderheim. And I think that'll be pretty neat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep that a part of the continent. So I'm just going to go around it a little bit. And it'll be a very interesting addition to the game. So you could see the progress I've made so far, and I'm up here with the next set of islands. So I think I'm going to take this point right here, and that's where I'm going to break off and get all these islands all at once. And then I'll return back to the main continent. So there we have it. Looks like the islands are done. Made a little mistake here. I think I accidentally double clicked when I was moving and I created another polygon here, but I could always delete that after I finish the rest of the continent. So don't worry if you make some mistakes here and there. You'll always be able to go back and fix them later. And that's another big mistake right there. I accidentally right-clicked and it brought up the menu, so I'm going to have to fix this later. Most definitely. Oh yeah, that doesn't look good. And there you have it. Threads of Oblivion. This is the first big area that we're going to be working on. This is Oblivion Vale. Now, if you want to edit an area, all you have to do is have it selected and then select it a second time, and you'll get all the polygons. So you saw I made a couple of mistakes over here and up here, so I'm going to go here to fix it. I'm going to start with a polygon I made right here on accident. If you want to get rid of one, all you have to do is click it once, it'll turn red, and you click it a second time, and then it'll delete. Now we have our clean line back here, and if you ever did want to edit it, you could just, grab a line and then pull it. But I don't. I like the nice clean line. So this is where it got a little bit dicey on accident, so I'm going to go fix that. You could drag the polygons, you could move them around however you want to. Let's see, I'm going to add a couple here. And I'll drag this one in. Voila, it is nice and fixed. The entire map is tidy. I'm going to save it. And we could take a look. This is exactly what I was looking for Threads of Oblivion. All right, I have a really quick description for Obsidian Vale. I'm going to generate some just in-game art for now, just see what it looks like. Ooh, that's not bad. Let's take a quick look. I'm okay with this for now. I'll change it later. It's something stylized for Midjourney, but for right now, this is okay. The in-game art generator isn't bad. It's actually pretty good. It just depends on what you're looking for and how you're prompting for it. But yeah, it's nice. So continue editing. Let's see. Something that I've learned with map images is I can change the color or transparency. I like doing full transparent for some of my stuff, especially if it's full continent. I'm going to make the map image transparent. I hit save, and you'll see when I click out, there's no tint. There's just the border. The border stays, but there's no longer any tint from the inside of the map image. Alternatively, you could change that, and let's say if I wanted it red, I could just change my map image to red, hit save. This actually doesn't look that bad, but I do want to have rivers going in that are very visible. I do want the mountains to be very visible, the forests of Tir Vilas to be very visible, so I'm not going to have any map image because of that. So there we go. We'll make it transparent for now. That's essentially how I draw on the map to get really good areas. And what's really cool about this is if you don't want any map image, like any map image in the background, you just want textures, you could do that as well. So just to give you an example, I loaded up my map image with just a texture. So I could hit save changes. And just to show you what that would look like if I only had a texture there. Right? So you could mess around with that. It can actually look pretty clean depending on what you put in there. Yeah, not everyone likes to do this. I think it's pretty neat. I won't be doing this for Threads of Oblivion because I have a pretty decent map that's already in the background. But if you are interested in changing the texture, you could just, find a texture online that you really like, create one with AI, and then just load it up as a map image for the background. But for now, I'm going to go with a transparent background. Right. And now I'm going to draw all the other areas in the map, and I'm not going to add descriptions to them yet. I'm just going to lay them all out so I could see what the areas look like and see if I'm okay with them, if I'm happy with the way that they look. So we have the Dwarven Kingdom done, and I'll add the description for it later. But now we are going to move on to the Elven territory. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now here's where we kind of get into tricky territory when I go along the lines here, but it doesn't have to be perfect. The area in between the forest and the edge could always just be a coastline. There we go. So we have Tir Vilas, we have Bralderheim. Now I just have 2 territories left to do. I kind of like how there's a river that's cutting through the continent here. And I think it would be pretty neat if maybe the human kingdom stretches out along the coastline and does its best to avoid the Nocturne plague lands. Like they've started encroaching on their territory here to the north, almost cutting them off from the elves. So travel to the elves is still dangerous. I kind of like that idea. Maybe the human kingdoms will be around here in this area. The last area I'm going to be drawing is the plague lands. So that'll be Nocturne. That'll be right here in the center. And I think what I'll do is I'll probably pull it just in the dark area here, and then right bordering against the forest. Maybe a little bit of a gap against the forest, but I think that'll be good. Or maybe I have it stretch out a bit. Maybe it reaches out a little bit here, a little bit here. Oh yeah, that looks very good. All right, I hope that has been helpful for you. This has kind of been a tutorial on how to do areas in map making. At least that's how I do them. I get really nice and close. I draw the lines pretty well. And I create some nice looking continents, nice looking regions, kingdoms, all that stuff. And it doesn't have to look like this. Like it doesn't have to just be like a big old like blob that you put together for the areas. They could look a little bit different than that. Here's an example from New Vance City. This is a map I built forever ago, like a very, very long time ago. So it's not perfect. It's nothing like the kinds of maps that I do now, but I created a little subway system that runs underneath New Vance City, and it looks pretty nice. Your areas can be as thin as this. They don't have to be something that's like a big block size thing. Like this, for example, right here, the perimeter outskirts. This is kind of like a blocked area. When you're looking at the subway, it's completely different. It's just a bunch of little lines that go throughout the city, and you can walk into the area. You could find like a subway line pretty much anywhere in the city, but it's all over the place, right? So there are a lot of different ways that you can, create areas, and you could be pretty creative with it. But yeah, hope that this has been a helpful tutorial for you, and I'll be back with more tutorials later.